Or before I go to Jennifer for a second round, any?
Yeah, I guess I'll comment here. So I'm kind of soaking it in. You guys know I always do. So I'm soaking it in. I'm just in here in public comment, but also looking at the ordinance when you have a chance to, maybe tonight or tomorrow or whatever, look at City of Lakewood's, their ordinance and where have they all the whereas. I find it interesting. We're talking about I won't call it silly, it's important, but a $10,000 porta potty. City of Lakewood has dedicated 1% of its general fund to growing partnerships. So in other words, they're putting money in the game. The government would be horrible to run anything dealing with. I'm sorry, but government's not good at stuff like that. I hope we're in agreement with that. Anyways, growing its partnerships with local nonprofit organizations for the purpose of improving its coordination of existing services, including programs specifically related to improving lives on house residents of the city. And then it says, whereas in partnership with Pierce County and City of Tacoma, they allocated $1 million to low-income housing institute. So, you know, they're going to say, okay, this is what we're doing. We still have a problem. And then you look at the ordinance and it's citing the case law, just like Kylie and Michael are saying, we've got an issue here. We've got an ordinance on our books that effectively, I won't say I'm not an attorney, but it appears it is not in line with the Ninth Circuit's opinion. And therefore, I have a sinking feeling that we don't enforce it at all is probably our current policy. I don't need to have an answer to that. But in any case, the City of Lakewood is saying, so look, we've dedicated this money and we've got an issue with the court. They kind of spell it out and they say, hey, we have some environmental concerns. They spell that out. Well, we have similar environmental concerns here. By the way, I assume we're all familiar with Lakewood. They are our comp. That's a military town. It's a little bigger than we are. Probably about 80,000 if I was going to guess, a little bigger, but very similar socioeconomic demographics, I would argue, the whole works. So you throw your Portland here, your wherever, Seattle here. No, Lakewood has done a lot of the heavy lifting. I'd like to know when this was passed. Michael, do you know when Lakewood was passed?
I want to say it was this year within the last 2 or 3 months. I think it was
okay,
April.
Maybe a little early, but I'd like to hear some of the feedback of the Lakewood experience.
March 20th, 2022.
To see how things are going. I know it's a little, but then I encourage you to go ahead and look at, because we're saying, oh, there's no shelters in the city. They talk about the shelter availability where they can this stuff can kick in as far as no camping in parks or whatnot. Has to be within a 15-mile radius. And at first you say, oh, that's too restrictive. You can't, but the city has to move them, take them there. So I think they thought this out pretty good. Now I'm saying that, you know, people don't come after me with pitchforks. I'm saying I'm open to this. It's better than what we have. We need to balance both sides, like people are saying. And definitely, I think there should be more money in the game from the city. This talk about the porta potty is serious, but almost comical, really. I don't know. I was going to say something, but I'll refrain from saying that word. Anyway, so that's my thoughts. Like, we need to do something. So we paid the big bucks, do something. And we do control the purse. That's why I mentioned the money's got to come from somewhere. You take it from here. You want it for here, it's got to come from somewhere else. But, you know, that's our decision, our purview as well. It's interesting. So I'll look at the other ones that you mentioned in a little more depth, but I like Lakewood's. Again, I'm waiting to hear public comment and looking forward to the discussion, but I really think you need to do something. You can't just say, oh, it's too complicated. Oh, it's, you know, we don't even have a porta potty or whatever. And we can do some proactive things like Lakewood did. And we need to address it. So that's my opinion.
Okay, Nana, you have not gone this round. Yeah, all right, okay, so you go for it.